So thank you for agreeing to be interviewed today. This interview focuses on intercultural communication, especially verbal and non-verbal communication in daily interactions. So your responses will be used for academic purposes only. To start, could you briefly introduce yourself?
Okay, good night, everyone. First of all, my name is Nangkula Utaberta. I've been staying in Malaysia for 23 years, yeah? And I'm currently working at the UCSI universities as a lecturer in the field of architecture studies. So I will try my best to answer the questions. If I can't or I don't know some of the answer, so hope it's okay lah for you guys.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I will start with the first question. First, what do you understand by intercultural communication in daily interaction?
Intercultural means the one that I understand is that when you are coming from one culture, you are trying to communicate or socialize with other cultures. Yeah, so there must be differences. Yeah, either from your background, from the way you understand things, and maybe your family. I mean your habits. Yeah, I believe those might be different between one person to another person. That's I believe as a intercultural interactions lah.
Okay, thank you. So for the second question, so in Indonesian culture, politeness is considered very important. So how is politeness usually shown in communication, both verbally and non-verbal?
Okay, I think first of all we need to understand Indonesia first. Yeah, because Indonesia is a very big country. Yeah, I think now is number 4 in term of population in the world. Yeah. Because the country is very big, so the culture may varies, yeah, from one place to another places. For example, if you're referring to Malays, most of the place in Indonesia which was related with Malays was in Sumatra. If you're referring to Riau, Medan, Palembang, those are part of the Indonesia, with the west part of Indonesia. Majority of Indonesia stay in Javanese Island. Javanese Island is the one at the bottom, at the south part. Small island, but consists, I think, around 70 to 80% of Indonesian. While other people in Indonesia were staying in Kalimantan, yeah, Kalimantan, Borneo Island. The Borneo Island was very big island, but very few people staying there. Yeah, so the culture might be different. If you refer to the east part of Indonesia, you find the Bali, Nusa Tenggara, Barat and Timur, yeah, and Sulawesi, and also Papua. So if you're referring to Indonesia, you're referring to quite wide range of culture. Yeah, so I think for today's one, we might be focusing much on Javanese, yeah, Javanese, because I'm from Java, yeah. In Malaysia, we call it orang Jawa. So Javanese people, yes, yeah. Compared to other part of the world, Javanese people are very indirect people, yeah, because they have culture, customs, yeah. So when you want to say something to some other people, you put a hint. Put a hint mean that you are giving them a signals. Yeah. For example, if you coming back from works, yeah, normally a father in Java when they would like to go for eat, yeah, dinner, yeah, or lunch, they never ask for food. So they just sit in the tables, keep quiet and look at people around. That means the father want you to serve them, to bring them the food and things. Yeah, so so don't be surprised, yeah, if in Javanese traditional cultures, the father normally they won't say a lot. Yeah, they say only important things because that was in the culture. Differences with the mother. So the mother is normally the one who manage everything. Yeah? And manage everything means that even though some decision related with the family was decided by the mother, yeah, not the father. So only when comes to very critical and very important matters, only the father comes. The the whole idea is that in Javanese cultures, father is the one who must be very focused on bringing the food to the families. Yeah, I mean they're looking for I mean they're looking for incomes, yeah, for the family. So they must be given a space, yeah, so that they won't be bothered with small matters. That was the ideas lah, the ideas of the families. I'm not sure whether that is direct or indirect things, but normally the children are afraid with the mother. They don't afraid with the father because mother all when father speaks, he only speak about money. You need money, you speak to the father. So that's the cultures lah. I'm not sure if that answering the question or not. Hopefully it answered the question.
So for the next question, from your experience, how do non-verbal behaviors such as facial expressions, gestures, or body language reflect politeness in Indonesian culture?
Okay. As I said, if you're referring to Indonesia as a Javanese cultures, one thing, politeness is always is a very important thing. Yeah, they call it in Malaysia they call it adab. Yeah? In Indonesia also they have a things called adab. For example, if you're not allowed to look at the face for the older people. Yeah, you're not allowed to do face to face. In Javanese, it's even more strict. Yeah, if the son or daughter speak to the elder, like their mother or father, they don't allow to sit at the same level. They should be sit lower. Yeah, that was the culture. So at the same times, where you want to speak to elder people, yeah, not only for the father and mother, sometimes for grandmother, for even teacher, yeah, every or even your brother, if you the elder brother or elder sisters, no one normally we didn't rise up your voice. It should be lower. Difference with the high, if the elder brother or sister, they speak to you, they can use whatever language they want. In Javanese, even they have different language. Yeah. For example, there are three level of Javanese language. Yeah. Number one, they call it Kromohinggil. Kromohinggil is a very high level of Javanese language. Yeah. I mean, you are very normally they did it in the palace. Yeah. When you pick normally when you speak to older people, you are using a Kromohinggil language, which is the highest level. Then you have one when you speak with your teacher, yeah, your teacher or your parents. Yeah. Then the lower one when you speak with your friends. Yeah, that's the three level. So gesture, and also facial things. Normally, we think up, yeah, we think up to our elder people. Yeah, that was the cultures lah. Yeah, from the expression, from the way if you want to ask something, you ask nicely. Yeah, that was the idea. So when don't raise the voice. Yeah, I mean you don't. It doesn't mean that you cannot argue. You can argue with people, but with this with the very small lower tone and also a very nice way of saying it. Yeah, Japanese people is very good in term of sending the message. Yeah, indirectly. Yeah, sometimes I mean because if you are coming from a very conservative Javanese families, you are taught to speak indirectly, very polite, but you can deliver message more effectively. How to do that, I also do not know because I never grow in that families. Yeah, but some of the people I know they can speak very well. Like in Malaysia, you use pantun. Yeah, when you want to deliver some message, you use pantun. Then at the end of the pantun, you deliver your message. Japanese they have the way of saying that when you start with introduction things, and then you come out into your into your message after that. That's what I know lah.
Okay, so next question. Among this nonverbal behavior, which one do you think the most strongly represent politeness in Indonesia communication culture?
Sorry,
And
can you
why?
repeat the first sentence, I'm not so clear on that.
Okay, so among these non-verbal behaviors, which one do you think the most strongly represent politeness in Indonesian communication and why?
Okay. Honestly, the non-verbal communication is much more important than the verbal one. Yeah. For example, for politeness, you never raise your eyes to the elder people. Yeah, that is very important. Yeah. I mean, if you disagree with them, you can always still lower your eyes, but still can deliver your message. Yeah. Not to say in the same level, but you can what you can do is that you can raise your voice a bit on that. So in terms of politeness, I think the gesture of head, of eyes, yeah, face to face, that is the most important lah, in my opinions.
Okay, so for the next one, silence is sometimes used as a form of polite communication in Indonesia. So how is silence usually interpreted in this context? Like, have you seen situation where silence was misunderstood in intercultural interactions?
Yes, in as I said, I'm referring to Javanese cultures. Yeah, if you refer to Javanese cultures, when you want to say something, sometimes you put a gap if the thing is important. So you keep silent a bit for few seconds, then you say your words. Means that that thing is very important. Yeah. So same thing with the with is a way when you deliver speech. When you sometimes when you deliver speech, you put a pause into certain words. Then you start a new one. That means that the new word might be very important. Of course, there's lots of misunderstanding on that. Yeah, sometimes people are waiting. People are waiting when suddenly the one that comes out is not as expected. It's not as important as expected. Then it becomes something. Sometimes it's not because of they want to say something important, because maybe they have apa cough or something, yeah, sore throat, yes. They cannot say something like that. Maybe lah, maybe. That might be the reason. So that might be the reason for misunderstandings lah.
Okay, so for the next question, Indonesian culture often uses indirect speech to avoid conflict. Have you experienced situation where this indirect way of speaking was misunderstood by people from other culture?
Yes, yes. Sometimes when you have a conflict with anyone, you don't like to speak directs. Yeah. In Javanese culture, even in Indonesian cultures, we are using some medium, yeah, some medium to send before we come into the main things. Yeah. But not many cultures is actually believe on that. Yeah. Now, some other cultures, they want to know directly. Yeah, they want to know the things. So say, what is actually you trying to say? They will say something like that. That is the way when other cultures trying to uncover the real scenarios. In Japanese cultures or maybe some other cultures, we tend to start with introduction, the problems, the backgrounds, yeah. After we enter explaining the background, only come out into the message. Yeah. Some people don't like that. They want the message first, only you explain later. That is a different. That's what I believe will become some misunderstanding, and it creates a conflicts. Yeah, sometimes it creates conflict because people say like you are untrue on some of your saying. Yeah, what you saying. I think that is the reason of that.
Okay, so next question. How does indirect speech affect communication between Indonesian and people from cultures that prefer direct communication?
Yes, to accommodate that, I mean to reduce the potential of conflict or to avoid possibilities of greater conflicts, what you need to do is that you need to explain the background. Yeah. Sometimes you have to explain to them why people behave things like that. For example, like Indonesian cultures, like I mean, it's Javanese cultures. You have when you are not dealing with these people. For example, we in Indonesia we have other people who always go direct, like Batak, yeah, Batak, Medan, yeah, in Sumatra, not part of Sumatra, yeah, when Aceh and Medan, these kind of people they like to go direct, yeah. So with this kind of peoples, they expecting a direct explanation. While in Javanese people, you might not say directly, but you mean something. Yeah, that's why they don't. Javanese people is a good people who avoid conflict. They are among the best people who don't go for face-to-face war with people. But they do something which make your life is worse. Some people like that in the office or place, they can
Okay.
not to say behind your back, but they have a system or to do something in response to what you're doing. So I think to avoid the conflict between these two kind of characters, what you need to do is that you need some kind of understandings and explanation at the beginning as a background. So when you have a background, it's very easy or very convenient for you to understand how people behave. Yeah, I think that is the key things. So explaining the backgrounds, build a mutual understanding. I think that will be the key to discuss or to avoid any future conflicts. That's in my opinion on that.
Okay. So, for the next one, in your opinion, what are the main causes of misunderstanding related to politeness, indirect speech, and nonverbal communication in intercultural interactions?
Okay. I think the one first is the tone. Yeah. Sometimes some people when they rise up their voice, for example, in Sumatra, Aceh, or Batak culture, you speak with very loud. Yeah. One of the historian believe it's because in Batak or in Aceh or Medan, the house was quite far. Yeah. I mean, the kampung is big, but the not many house in that kampung. So the distance between one house to another house was quite far. So when they call people up, yeah, they speak very loud. So these cultures, when they're speaking with people, they like to speak very loud on that. Yeah. So that creates the misunderstanding, yeah, when you come to Java, because in Indonesia, as I said, 70 to 80% people stay in Java. So Java is the place, especially like Jakarta, big city like Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya, yeah, Yogyakarta, is a place where people is a melting pot. They call it melting pot means that where people come in, they interact there. I mean, they interact with others there. So when people came and they have a very high or very loud voice, people thought that they're angry with them. Actually, those people is not angry with them. Sometimes you speak too soft, like you're not serious. So, oh, this Javanese people is not very serious with what they're saying, yeah, because they say it very very calmly, quiet, very in low tone, etc. So those are the one who create differences. Yeah, the differences are potential to misunderstood, yeah, by people. Yeah, that's why, as I said, it when you interact with those people for for some period of times, then you can have some understandings. I think that understanding is the most important lah for you to avoid this kind of potential of conflicts.
Okay.
I hope that
Okay.
answered the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. So finally, what strategies do you think can help improve understanding of Indonesian politeness norms and indirect communication in intercultural settings?
Okay. In Indonesia, we have a common language or the national language called Bahasa Indonesia. Yeah, Bahasa Indonesia actually coming from Bahasa Melayu, from Bahasa Melayu. Now become a conflict between Indonesia and Malaysia because Bahasa Indonesia now spoke by more people than Bahasa Melayu. And one thing very interestingly is that Bahasa Indonesia develop so many vocabularies, new vocabularies, and it grows into a very specific, a very grow language now. So when you have this common language, interestingly, not like Malaysia, Indonesia have I think 300 something, 300 or 400 plus of language. Yeah? There's a lot of language, and the language have totally different language. It's not like slang. Slang is that when you go to some places, you use the same language but different slang. That's not. You go to the place where people speak totally different with you. For example, like people in Malaysia, you can refer to Sabah and Sarawak. Yeah, compared to Semenanjung, they have a different language. Yeah, but Semenanjung like Johor to Negeri Sembilan to even East Coast, they are speak similar but different slang. Yeah. What I'm trying to tell you is that when we have our national language, yeah, we build up a common understanding. Yeah, and national language was taught in the whole level of the schools. Yeah. So this is a good strategies in unifying the whole cultures and language from all the people in Indonesia. And so when they have one national language in Indonesia, when you have formal, informal, or things, you use this language. Yeah. So then people you can avoid misunderstanding between people. So when people are speaking the national language, it's easy for them to rectify any potential conflict. That's one good strategy. Of course, the second strategy will be more understandings, means that you need to know more cultures. Yeah, when you traveling for some times, yeah, you visit. This understanding between culture is very important. Yeah, because most people when they have conflict, the reason is because they don't know each other. When you don't know each other, the it's very easy for people get misunderstood. Yeah, so when you know people, you know that these people is not angry, even though they rise up their voice, that can reduce a potential of conflicts. Yeah, so those are strategies. I think, of course, number one, as I said, one common language. Second one will be more understanding of people. Yeah, I mean you try to understand different culture. You know, get to know them better. And the third one is that because government Indonesia, we have a term called Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, if you look at our national symbols, there's a apa hawk there, burung Garuda. Yeah? There's a burung Garuda. There's a the foot he's holding one uh, terms. Yeah, in Malaysia you call it bersatu menambah mutu. Yeah? I don't know whether most Malaysian know about that or not. But in Indonesia, the term they use is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Bhinneka Tunggal Ika means that berbeza-beza tetapi satu jua. Ya, kami berbeda tapi kami tetap satu. Means that there's a terms that we use, yeah, when we think we are different, but we are having the same understanding that we are one. Yeah, one means that we are the same, one nation, one countries, and one language for that. So it's easier for us to understand that. That is I think that's those three strategies that people are using in Indonesia for that. I hope that answered the question.
Yes. Thanks. Okay, so thank you very much for your time and for sharing your insights. Your responses are greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Anything, if anything lacking, just let me know. Maybe I can
Okay.
answer in the future. Okay, bye.
Okay. Bye.
Assalamualaikum
Bye.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam. Ni.
Meeting for all.
Kena stop record dulu.
Oh, stop recording too.
Macam mana?
Stop recording dulu, jangan keluar dulu.
Oh, okay.